Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Hopefully, we're online now. Let's see if we are. Goodness gracious. Okay. Yes, there we go. Good. Okay. Well, huge market sell-off today. Wow. The Dow Jones took it in the shorts, and yeah, Janet Yellen basically says that if we don't raise the debt limit, um, we're gonna default on all the government debt. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think there's really an appetite out there to raise the debt ceiling, but we'll see. I mean, this is the kabuki dance that we seem to go through all the time. But the bond rates have been going up. That means that basically the U.S. may not be able to sell any of its debt because, frankly, the Chinese Communist Party isn't buying any more of it, and the Gulf Emirates are not really buying, and Japan isn't buying either. So the Fed has been buying it, and they're saying they're running out of money. So they need to print some more money. Must be nice to have that money printing machine in your basement. I certainly don't. But anyways, it really socked it to to the markets today. We took a big dump. We took a big dump. So yeah, I mean, we have the debt ceiling coming up, and hopefully they'll be able to get it together before then. If not, they're going to probably do a government shutdown. Who knows where that's going to go? But it wasn't all bad news. Some of my some things that I had actually went up, and those were mostly shipping and oil and Macy's department store for some reason. I can't figure that one out. But hey, it's an interest. It's going to be interesting out there. That I can only say. September is definitely going out with a bang, and it's not a good sign. So, we just kind of got to brace for heavy weather and play a little bit smaller. I'm afraid. Just kind of wanted to show you where the indexes were. There was about a percent, 1.63% off of the Dow Jones. It was down 569. The S&P also took a dumper, down about 2%. The Nasdaq, even more, 2.83. Of course, that's where all the growth stocks live. Even the Russell was not unscathed, down 2.25%. And the IBD 50, that's basically growth stocks, that was down 5%. So, wow. And this is as of the market close today. So, I kind of wanted to show you how the Dow sort of, what's going on with that, because we pulled down below that 40-day moving average, and then we kind of bounced, and now we're all back down. So I'm afraid, the downward trend continues. We thought we had an uptrend going yesterday. I suspect, my guess is, we're going to go to an uptrend under pressure tonight. So if you're not on the action trade alerts, highly recommend it. What I'm going to do is when I get notice of that, I'm going to be sending out an alert. So to get on the trade alerts, super easy to do. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and you can get right on those trade alerts. So here's what I've got. I had to trim some today. Wow, I've trimmed a lot, but I still have American Express. It's down. Diamondback Energy, FANG, that's down. Macy's is up oddly. Palantir is down. Yeah, with a lot of volume too. And I have been selling that, unfortunately. I'd like to hold on to it, but my position is moving into cash. That's just kind of the way it is. Salesforce were down hard, about 2.65%. So that I may be out of that one too. Starbolt Carriers, it's up, and I do like that. Dorchester Minerals, this is what I've been accumulating. Interestingly enough, this is in the this is in the oil. This is mainly in the gas area. From what I'm seeing, based on what I'm seeing out there, we're likely to see this winter gas prices go up a lot. So if you're in the Northeast, brace for heavy weather. You might want to get a kerosene heater. I think it's may kind of be expensive. But anyways, one thing you can offset that with, Dorchester Minerals is big in the natural gas area. So that actually probably will go up, but it's really off the back of a lot of people. I think gas prices are going to go up. I was talking to one of my colleagues who is a landman. He's basically an expert in the oil and gas industry, and Matter of fact, we are also we're going to be doing some offerings of some basically fractional ownerships of some oil wells that we have in Oklahoma. It's very good. Actually, it's a very simple. It's coming together right now, but he's predicting $100 barrel oil by the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens on that. Robert Half, it's down a little bit. Of course, that's the staffing firm, and a lot of people are still having trouble getting staff. Believe it or not. Visa, that's down pretty sharply. The XLE is doing well though. That's the Energy Select Spider. That one's up a little bit. The QQQ is down. I've been lightening my position in the Qs as well. So, gosh, overall, kind of a difficult market today. I tell you, it's not the way we'd like to see it. That's for sure. But and as soon as I can get my cursor, there we go. As soon as I can get my cursor, there we go. Get my cursor back. I can let's take some questions here from everybody. Thank you for holding on. I hope that I hope that that you've survived. Okay, let's take a look at AMD. Of course, that I sold out of AMD today. Unfortunately, I really like the stock, but I hit my stop losses, and you know how I trade. That's how I do it. So I'm going to show you the annotated chart that I have for AMD. Let's kind of pull that up. There we go. There's AMD. And as you can tell, I was stopped out at 102.13. Unfortunately, after hours, it's gone even lower at 190. This is one of the reasons I always use stop losses, because, when the selling happens, it really happens. This was my margin in here, as I think you can see this on the chart. Let's zoom in a little bit. I'm going to zoom in and show you kind of the margin that I was, kind of where I was expecting it to move, and I got stopped out at 102.13. So, it looks like it's going to settle right back down to the pivot. The pivot on AMD is 122.49. 122.49. So I suspect to see, tomorrow I expect to see a little bit of some strength there. We probably will get a little bit of a dead cat bounce. Unfortunately, I am totally out of AMD right now, and it's kind of disappointing, because I really do like AMD. I think it's a great it's a great firm, and but you just when it starts happening like this, you kind of get out of the way. It makes it difficult. So let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we're back out. We had this very nice run. We had this breakout at 95.44. I was playing this. I played this all the way up to about here, and then I got out when it pulled back. I just started getting back in, and of course I got rejection at the hoop here. Unfortunately, as of today, and this is important to note, the direction of AMD has changed, and that is very unfortunate. But the direction of AMD has changed to a downward trend. So currently, we had that breakout. We were going higher, but it looks as if the direction of AMD has once again taken this trend, this downward trend that we're happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reactivate that line, and basically what that line is going to tell us is when we move back to an upward trend. But currently, we are in a downward trend with AMD, and that's kind of unfortunate, because it's a very, very good stock. Really, really like it, but I'm afraid that it's just one of those things. So hopefully we'll get some strength at about 101.97. That's what I'm hoping. That's kind of where the bottom of the consolidation is, and hopefully we'll bounce off there. But boy, I got stopped out today. myself. So, boy, it's one of those things. All right, let's look at Samuel's question. Good afternoon, Jim. Please check Home Depot and CEI, please. Thank you very much for being a fan. I really do appreciate that. On days like today, it's nice to know that you have fans. Oh gosh. So let's take a look at Home Depot. Oops. Let's see if I can kind of zoom in on that a little bit. Let's go back here. So I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit on this chart to kind of give you a look-see on it. And kind of look at the action here. So basically, let's move over there. There we go. So basically what happened is that, we were pulling up to that pivot very nicely. That pivot at 338.55. We got rejected at that. We got resistance at that. It pulled back down first to the 10-day line, and then it bounced off the 21-day. Then it pulled back down to the 21-day line. So in terms of Home Depot in general, it's still not acting that badly. So if I wasn't down more than 7%, I would hold this one based on this. But we're sort of trapped in this range. We're trying to make it above that 338 level. And so right now I wouldn't be looking to sell it. I definitely think it's going to take another run. Obviously, it's up a little bit after hours, $2.50. I think this is a little bit of an overreaction. 336.30. It's still a good stock. I mean, so I can't not like Home Depot. I can't not like Home Depot at these prices. So let's check a few more things with Home Depot here to kind of see, probably not the best day to buy anything today, to be honest with you, but I want to kind of check the checklist on Home Depot to see kind of where we're going there. But it looks as if we've got a fairly good checklist, a 67% checklist. So that's actually pretty good. Where we're falling down, we're falling down on that relative strength. We're below 80 on the relative strength and earnings and sales. So those are one technical criteria and two technical. So let's look at the fundamentals. Let's see, kind of, just revisit the fundamentals here a little bit. So it does appear on the fundamental analysis that the sales are slowing down. The last quarter, they were only up 8%. I say only, that's pretty good. Up 33% last quarter. But their earnings, and this is the concern here, of course, is that their earnings are slowing. Still, just a monster cash flow if you look at it, 1437 on that cash flow. So it's not a bad stock. It's just slowing down, and it's not as necessarily as good a place as it needs to be. Really like to see. I don't want to add here. I really am not buying anything today. Don't want to add here. It has a relative strength of 69, so that's the only thing I would say. But if you're in the position, I would stay in it, but I wouldn't be adding at this point. I just wouldn't be adding. We got to see how the market is going to treat us. I mean, that's just the big thing here, because until we know a little bit more, it's going to be tough. And I'm sort of pulling back once again. I'm going more into cash. So we'll see tonight if we go to a market trend under pressure, which we may very likely do. Let's look at Tony. Universal Security Instruments. Not a company I'm familiar with that much, but let's take a look at it anyways. It seems to be in the security space, not a particularly good area of the market right now. It's basically in the bottom half of where the capital is flowing. So I'm not really that excited about that. Also, unfortunately, we have a situation here where it's trading below the 200-day line. This is really key. I don't like to buy anything below the 200-day line. That's just kind of a thing. If you adhere to that, you're gonna tend to get things that are trending up. But it's below the 200-day moving average. So I wouldn't buy. But really, just based on that, that alone, we have to be super careful because below, especially in this market, if we're trending below that 200-day moving average, it's just not a good thing. So here's what I would say with this stock, Universal Security Instruments, symbol UUU. I just would not buy this one because it is below the 200-day moving average. I just think that that's really too low. It does have a fairly good checklist at 67, but I just think we got to be very, very careful in this market. The market dynamics have changed somewhat. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens on this debt ceiling thing. Who knows? It may not. They may get the votes to raise the debt ceiling. They may not. So, I think unfortunately that's going to cause headwinds for everything. Now, one of the things I did open up today, and I put it out there, and I want to show it to you. I put out a spread on Alibaba. Now, actually, it's gone up a little bit today, but I want to show you this one, and possibly the spread trade that I have on it. I don't know. I don't think I have it on the action trade alerts yet, but I may put this one out tonight as well. This is basically this is the chart of Alibaba, and as you know, the Chinese government has been arresting a lot of the people that have been in a lot of these companies, and of course, um, um, Alibaba was fined a tremendous amount of money. They did pay it. It is up a little bit today, up to the 10-day line, but my guess is we're going to fall lower on this. And if so, hopefully, we'll be able to see how that works. So let's kind of just take a look to see how this is going to trade. So I'm going to just take the price here. Okay, let's see. And basically the last trade on this one was 152. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go get the deck for it. Let's see if I can bring that up here. All right. All right, I'm bringing it up right now. And of course, everybody in the Discord room, of course, had access to this morning, so they might have seen this. But let me put this up kind of here for you. This is the spread trade that I'm considering making on Alibaba. Currently, today, when we started out, we basically were even, but today we're gonna kind of update this a little bit. So I'm going to update the chart here, and I'm going to show you the progress of this bear put spread. This is a bear trade. So with the bear trade, if the stock goes down, then hopefully we'll see some nice movement up there. So this is where Alibaba closed today. So let's kind of see kind of what's happened with that. Okay, well, it closed at this level, so let's put that there, 152. So really, today is kind of, it's not quite the last day of September, but it's getting there. So we're basically a little bit negative right now. We're seeing it basically at about this level, this 152.25 level, and using this chart, it's predicting essentially, basically for today, that the expected price is going to be about minus $14. So we'll see how this one trades. We'll see how this one trades. But if you want to get access to this and take a look at this trade, you definitely can. We definitely have let's see if I can bring that up. So that's basically, I'm going to just copy that link, and I'm going to put that out there essentially to everybody out there, so that if you're watching at home, or if you're watching and you want to take a look at this deck, very easy to do. I'm just going to put the I'm just going to put the banner up here. This is the address that you need to go to for the trade on Alibaba. If you're interested in it, it's a bear put spread, and it's http:/::// I mean, it's :/opcalc.com/capital B lowercase p and uppercase p. So if you do that, you will get access to the trade, and you can see it right from there. So that's a good way to go on this trade. But that is the that is the Alibaba put spread, okay, on Alibaba. So if you want to take a look at this trade, I definitely have it up right now, and I have updated it for for what's going on today. It's a bear put spread, and if Alibaba goes down, then this goes up, and so this kind of gives you an idea of this sort of the profit zone here as it goes down. You can see the trend has been down, so that's where I entered the trade. We had a little bit of a dead cat bounce, so hopefully if it moves lower, then I think we will see a nice, we'll see a nice trade on that. So, but anyways, that's available at the address that's up on the screen now. So there you go. All right, let's take a look at some of the people on. I'm losing money on ETC. Should I sell it? Good question. Good question. So let's look at ETC and let's kind of see. The answer is always it depends. It depends on where you bought it. But let's look at ETC on the chart. Let's kind of just answer this question for, I think it's SHIR_4_5. Okay. Well, this is, let's put ETC in there. And by the way, if you're watching on TikTok, well, goodness, why isn't that coming up? On ETC, should I sell it? Absolutely. If you're down, and I guess this is Ethereum, I guess, if you're down more than about 7%, you should consider selling. I know this is painful, but now is time to preserve your capital. Let's just kind of look on in terms of the crypto. Let's look on GBTC and see. It's down today again. No surprise. As we all know, the Chinese government has banned it, and I saw some articles saying, well, this is really good for Bitcoin. I don't think so. I wish I did. I wish I could believe that banning Bitcoin was a good thing, but unfortunately, that's not the case. And the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is down. It's below the 200-day moving average. So, if you're kind of looking for sort of a telltale that's going to tell you the direction of the market, I'm afraid, at least for right now, it looks as if people are probably going to be selling some of their Bitcoin positions, at least probably in the next week or so. They're really going to have to find out whether or not the debt ceiling is going to be raised. If the debt ceiling isn't going to raised, I have a feeling that it's going to hang up in Congress, and we're not going to get a resolution to it. So we may have some short-term pain here in the market, and we'll see. But eventually, the government checks will probably continue to roll on, but they're going to inflict some pain. People do not want to pass that $3 trillion spending bill. They're not going to do it. So it's going to be a little dicey for a while, I'm afraid, as this thing metastasizes. All right. Can you say something about Plug? And this is coming also from TikTok. Let's look at Plug. Plug has not been good, and I talk about this almost every day. Somebody must have a very large position in this. It's under the 200-day moving line. I would like to say that it's going to go up. I really would, but I think you got to sell. I think you got to sell. Now I could be so wrong on this. I mean, it could just turn around and go north. But you know what? Here's the thing. Last year, the alternative energy was doing really, really well. But this year, oil is the place to be. So you don't really want to be in Plug Power right now. Where you want to be is in one of the oil stocks. That's kind of where you want to be. So let me put up WLL. This is one you might want to look at, Whiting Petroleum. This is the kind of stock you want to see. It's going basically from Los Angeles here to New York. You can see it's moving up. So instead of being in some of the alternative energy stocks, it's probably best, because we're going to have a lot of inflation, I'm afraid, it's probably going to be best to be in some of the oil stocks. If you'll notice, the U.S. E&P, it's 11 out of 197. So very strong area in the market. Let's kind of take a look at that to see sort of where it is the strongest. Well, here are the strongest of the E&P stocks. Of course, Denbury Resources is right at the top. Matador, that's another one. That's actually based here in Dallas. Kind of interesting. Fang, I have Fang, but let's look at Matador, because Matador may have set up as well. Let's kind of look at that. Let's look at that chart a little bit here to see, because I don't want to be all doom and gloom. I don't want to. The techs aren't doing well, but Matador is setting up very nicely. There's a nice 38.05 buy point. So, here's what I would say about about kind of what's going on. So MTDR is setting up, and of course at a 38 a 38.05 buy point. Of course, it's an oil stock. I mean, and that's sort of, so I don't want to give all doom and gloom, because the techs aren't doing very well today. But Matador, which is an oil stock, seems to be setting up very nicely. And it does look like it's just about ready to move past the buy point, 38.05. So this is very good action here. I want to look at the kind of the checklist. It's got a 100% checklist, so that's really good. Unfortunately, because of things that are going on out there in the world, we're probably going to see a lot of inflation. And one of the areas in which we're going to see a lot of inflation is in the price of oil. And so the existing oil companies, especially the E&P ones, the exploration and production companies, are going to do fairly well. And Matador Resources is right at the top of the list. There are several really good ones that I kind of want to bring your attention to. And if you don't want to be in any one company, you could just use the XLE, which is the Select Spider for energy. That might be good too. The number one currently is Denbury, but it's not buyable. Well, yeah, it's not buyable, and it's pulled back a little bit. So I'm not as bullish on Denbury as as in some of the other ones. But let's take a look at the other ones. Matador, of course, and then I bought I've been buying Fang. That's Diamondback. It pulled back a little bit today. But it was up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. So it had to take off time. As they say, we work, in a week we have to take off Saturday. So we have to take 1 day a week off. That's what's sad. So it did take 1 day a week off. But Fang, I still like this one a lot as well. It's got a very high relative strength at 96. I did buy at 93, 70, 76. I'm up a little bit still. It pulled back, but I think we're going to start to see some nice movement in this one. This is Diamondback Energy, symbol FANG. So I want to just put up there, and it's Diamondback Energy, and it's FANG is the symbol on FANG. So this is one. This one has a very nice chart, and I think if you're looking for something to buy, here's the thing. As they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So if you've been buying tech and it's going down on you, maybe you consider moving to a different part of the market. One of the areas of the market that you might do well in is in the energy sector, because it has been in the top for really the last 6 months, this area of the market. So, and I do kind of expect that we will continue to see, I do expect we'll continue to see a lot of strength there. So let's take another question from MU. Okay, so MU, of course, is Micron. And did they go through earnings? I can't remember. Yeah, they did. Boy, their earnings were really good, and they went down. So there you go. There's the reality of the market. you see, and I made a little note here on the 23rd. I'm not buying Micron right now. I do like the company, but the reason I'm not buying it is because unfortunately it is below this 200-day line. I kind of have a rule that I use. I don't like to buy below the 200 the 200-day line. It just I found that I've found that it so my rule is not to buy below the 200-day moving average line. So I just really don't. I really don't want to buy below that 200-day moving average. It's just too risky. So with MU, even though it looks, they had some good earnings, now that the earnings are finished, I think that that might look you might be able to get back in. But here's the problem that I have with MU. Yes, it did reverse higher. It's moved above the reversal line, but it's still below that critical 200-day moving average. So I just wouldn't buy it at this level. I know it's really, really, really painful because I like the company, but I just don't think it has a good enough checklist in this market. 67. So my take on it is, my take on is, watch list MU for now, and that's kind of where where I'm at on it. Oops, I'm back. That's kind of where I'm at on it. I mean, I just don't think right now you can buy this one. It's below the 200-day line. It is reversing higher, but it's very weak. They had good earnings, but it wasn't good enough. So let's look at the fundamentals here. They just reported earnings. Their sales were up a beautiful 36%, and their profits were up 129%. You say, well, Jim, that doesn't make any sense. They've got profits that are going up, and still their stock is going down. What gives? Well, what gives is, it's a total buy on rumor, sell on news. Their numbers were very, very good, but Micron just is one of those stocks that's tough to trade, and I just never trade it through earnings. I always sell it before earnings when I've traded it. It's got an excellent return on equity, 9%. It's got lots of cash flow, but right now, the hype isn't on it, and so I wouldn't recommend buying this one until it turns upwards. Currently, again, it's in this downward trend. I just don't like to buy in a downward trend. I especially don't like to buy below the 200-day moving average. So that's kind of my take on MU. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla's a different story. Interestingly enough, I have a spread on Tesla, and so let's take a look and see how that one's doing. Well, Tesla has been holding firm. Interestingly enough, currently, after it's updating it, it's 777. So it held very nicely. It's definitely an upward trend. I mean, it did pull off a little bit today, but it's in an upward trend. So let's kind of look in to see kind of on how the spread trade that I have on it is doing. So let me just kind of see if I can bring that up here, and let's see if I can put that up here. And what I'm doing is I have this spread trade on Tesla that I don't know if you saw it, because if you're in the Discord room, you're going to see it. But yeah, this is my bull calendar. It's not a call spread, calendar spread on Tesla. So there we go. So we're gonna pull that up and show everybody that. Let's see if we can take a look at that. At that right now. Okay, it's a bull calendar spread, which is a little different. The way a bull calendar spread works is that you don't have them both calls on the same day. You stagger them. And what I did when I opened this one is that I bought the October 22nd 780 call, and then I simultaneously sold the 780 call, but I'm sorry, I bought the October 22nd 780 call, and I sold the October 8th 780 call. So this one that I sold is running out very, very quickly, and we can kind of see kind of where it is currently, and where the expected price of this is. So today, Tesla basically, let's see where it closed. Okay. So Tesla today closed at 777.56. So let's see if I can kind of move these things around. So it's the 28th, and we're going to go to 777. So we're going to bring that right down to here. There we go. So the value of this spread currently is about, I'm going to put this in here. It's about right here. It's about at that number. There we go. For this spread. So we're doing fairly well in the spread. I don't intend to close it, because as you can see, if I hold on to the spread and it just stays flat, or possibly goes up to about 780, we'll probably make all the money on this one, because we're right in the sweet spot. The sweet spot would be basically right at 78. That's where we would make the maximum. So I'm going to be holding on to this. This one has a potential of a 13.59 return, or about 150% on the risk. And I entered this one, let's see, I entered this one on the 20th. So we've only been in this trade just a little bit of time, not very, very long. Have we been in this trade? If you want to take a look at this trade, super easy to do. Let me just put up the link for it on the screen. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, and this is Tesla. This will give you access to the deck. So let's see. There we go. So this, if you're interested in the spread trade on Tesla, as I put it, you can definitely put this. You can put this in there. So to access the calendar bull put spread on Tesla, just put this into your browser here. Let me give you the information here. So if you're interested in entering this trade, taking a look at it, not necessarily entering it, but this is the Tesla calendar bull put spread, and it's basically https://bit.ly.com, bit.ly/3AP lowercase capital P lie lowercase h lowercase I. So, and if by the way, we're going to be, this is recorded, so you can roll this back if you need to see that particular address. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok, you can just jump on over to Dallas Trading Floor, and I think it my profile, I think I have this on it, or you can just go to youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor to see this particular trade. All right, thank you for that. Let's go to the next one. We talked a little bit about Tesla. Here's a good question. Thank you, Jim. How do you decide to draw a descending line and decide if a breakout is interesting when you show it on the chart, but it looks good, but when I do it doesn't end up? Okay, sorry about that. Here's how I do a trend line breakout, and this is kind of a cool thing. I'm always really interested in doing it. So let's take a look at some breakouts, and I kind of want to show you what I'm talking about here. And let's look at some recent breakouts. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this up on the screen here, and let's see if we can get that up for everybody. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. This is for kind of recent breakouts, and I want to show you how they break out. All right, so this is Jones Lang LaSalle. Okay, this is a property management company, and here's the way I would evaluate it. Now, this one's already broken out, so it's a little bit after the fact. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to buy as the stock is moving from a downward motion. Oops. It's moving from basically a sort of a downward trend to an upward trend. And the way we do that is we do this trend line. And so what I do is typically I go up to the top where it's made the top. Now, not quite here, but where it has a bar, and then I draw a line, and I draw it through one and possibly two other high points. And then I draw it like that. Okay, now I'm going to set an alert on that. Now, my software lets me do this, so this is kind of unusual. So we have this line that I've drawn here. Well, what this is that when the stock changes its trend, and hopefully I can get this to, for some reason it's not letting me do that. Let me see if I can get it to, well, anyways, okay. So it's for some reason it's stuck here a little bit on this. It's showing the date, and so disregard this, but this little yellow thing. But anyways, what happened is it came down, and then when it reversed, and you notice how it reversed right about at the 200-day line, and that's this black line here. And so what I want to do is I want to set an alert on that. So as it moves up, that's where I want to start to try to get in. I'm probably going to look to buy possibly a half position there. And then if it really shows strength, I'll buy another half position there. That means that I have a full position before it ever goes to the pivot. The pivot is 50, in this case, for CF Industries, it's 57.19. That's where the pivot is. So what I'm doing here with this line is I'm trying to see if there's a change in direction, and that is the key. If there's a change in direction, on the motion. So let's zoom in a little bit here, and I'll show you this. And hopefully this will, yeah, there, move in a little bit. So you can see it a little bit easier. All right. Okay. So I'm going to kind of just go over here and sort of show you there. Okay. So now we've zoomed in quite a bit, and I don't know if it's going to let me. No, I don't think it is. Unfortunately, there's a limitation when it gets to about 200%. There we go. So when it gets to the very high magnifications, it's tough to see this. But this is the trend line that I drew, and this trend line basically is showing it's below this trend line. The stock is trending lower. When it crosses above this trend line, that's when we know we have a directional change. I like to buy when there's a directional change. This is what they call buying on the reversal. So if you see it go like that, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always move up quickly from that. But typically, a stock will come down. This is in a basing pattern. It'll come up from a high, and then it will stop, and then it will kind of come down. This is what the basing period is, and then when you want to buy it, when you want to start looking to buy it, is when it reverses higher, because when it will reverse, and then typically if everything is going well, it'll typically move much higher, much quicker up. And so also you want to take a look at the volume. If you'll notice, when it changed direction, all right, and that's the reversal right there, you'll notice that it had some of the highest volume. That's also a key that not only is it going to move higher, but it's moving higher on higher volume. That means a character change in the direction of the stock. And this is a very good place to buy, because typically many people that were going to sell it were going to take a bid. Those are what they call the weak hands. Those people were washed out. There weren't any more of them. The only people that are holding at that point are the strong hands, the people that are not going to sell unless you come up to their ask price. So if they have a higher ask price and you want the stock, you got to buy it. So that's why you can see the increasing volume and then the change, and that is how you see a change in the character and direction of the stock. Now, as we reach the pivot, which is 57.19, you can see that the volume goes down here a little bit. That means fewer people are willing to sell it, but they are not. They're wanting to hold it on. So that's pushing the price even higher. So I anticipate with this one, we may see this move above the pivot. But anyways, that's what the pivot, that's what the reversal line is, and that's how you analyze it to see if it makes sense to buy it. And I like to buy them on those reversals in the that if, but unfortunately they haven't been working this week. They haven't been working as well as it normally does. But if you're buying on those reversals, that could be sometimes one of the best places to buy a stock is as it is reversing to one of those as it was reversing, moving from a downward trend to an upward trend. Let's look at SGMS for Poly. Thank you. SGMS. Okay, this is looking good. Scientific Games. Interesting. 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 Interesting chart. There was a buy point at 75.21. That's right here. You can see it. Yeah, it's right here. We're extended right now, so I wouldn't buy this one. This is a tough market to buy in. Right now, it's just a very difficult market to buy in, but this one is extended a little bit, so I kind of want to take a look at it. It's got a very, very good checklist. So here's the thing, gosh, I would just wait on this one and see if it comes back into the buy zone. But right now, I think what you got to do on this one is that, this one is, it's extended. Don't buy above. And then it's really this, about this. Let's see if I can give you an exact number. Trying to, it's not letting me. There we go. Okay, so yeah, 78.95. So really, unfortunately this stock right now is extended. So I think if you're going to buy this, wait until it pulls back into the buy zone at about 78.95. I wouldn't buy this one right now. It's a little bit extended. See, here's the thing. You can buy the best stock in the world, but if you buy it at the wrong place, it can really hurt you because it'll pull back. Now, the way stocks trade typically is that they'll trade up to a buy point, and then they'll trade within that range, and then then if it gets more power, it'll move above. So it doesn't go up straight. It kind of goes up like stepping stones. So the step or the pivot on Scientific Games is at 75.21. We're above that. It pulled above that, but now and it's done, and it's moved above that, but we're just a little bit too far extended from that 75.21 price. So I would watch this one. I would not buy this one I wouldn't buy this one in the where it is now. I wouldn't, because it's extended, and even though it's a good stock, it's got an excellent checklist. I just think we got to be super careful in this market. So that's just the long and the short of it. Let's look at RIG. This is I think RIG is Transocean, if I'm not mistaken. I was working. Yeah, look at that. Nice movement on Transocean here. Of course, this is based in Houston, Texas. This is in the oil and gas drilling area. This hasn't been a great area. There's a lot of idle rigs right now. I think if you go out to the Midland Airport, there's a lot of drilling rigs out there. The rig count is down right now, if you follow that like I do. But on RIG, Transocean, let's look at the weekly chart, because the daily chart's a little bit noisy. So let me take a look at the at the weekly chart. If you're looking at the daily chart, let's see if there's a reversal that we can look at. It does look like this is the reversal line. It does look like that is the reversal line. So I'm going to set an alert on. It's not really on the. I want to set an alert on that line. Here's the thing about Transocean. It's very volatile. It's got a very nice relative strength at 97. But it trades under $10, so it is a little bit it's a little bit low on that. But here's what I do like about that. Look at the very nice volume that's come in. This is the average, so we're way above the average. And by the way, this is a logarithmic scale here. It's not linear, so this isn't just twice as much. It's like 10 times as much as normal volume. So this is a very strong. So somebody's buying RIG. Somebody is definitely buying RIG. There's no question about it. Let's look at the checklist to see. Now, this has a lower checklist. Part of the reason is it's an under $10 stock, and a lot of times companies won't invest in under $10 stock. I want to kind of look at the ownership here. But it still has 268 funds in it. So that in and of itself is good. Let's kind of look at the fund ownership. The reason I want to look at the fund ownership is I want to see if there are any AAA, if there are any A plus funds in it. Well, there's a few A minus funds in it. That's interesting. Vanguard Capital Opportunity and Total Stock Market Index. That's kind of an index fund. Large cap growth. That's interesting. So it's mostly the B and C class funds, but there are some A's sort of in there. So here's the thing I would say with RIG. I wouldn't, this is a tough one because it's just moved above that 200-day line. So you probably could start nibbling here, but I wouldn't recommend more than about a quarter position. So, I definitely think you could start buying here. You have to be really careful on this because it's such a cheap stock. It's very volatile. So, possibly a 1/4 position, maybe possibly 1/4 position. I'm just going to put a question mark on that because I think this may not be a bad area to have exposure to. I think this might not be a bad area to have exposure to. I just think that if we have a lot of inflation, oil is going to be doing very, very well, and the other areas are not going to be. That said, let's kind of take a look. I want to look at the areas of the market that are doing the best because I think, it's kind of a mystery. There's been so much rotation this year. It's amazing. It's sort of like, one group will move up and then, all of a sudden it will move down. It's a really tough market to trade because there's, in a normal downtrend, we would have just, people would have just gone out of the market. But because there's been so much stimulus in the market, it's just, money is just sloshing from one side of the market to the other. So this is basically the list of the sectors that are doing the best. The number one, believe it or not, area is coal. That's hard to believe, isn't it? Coal is the number one area. Retail department stores is good. Now I have Macy's in here. I want to kind of look at the retail department stores. This is the number 2 area of the market right now. And I only have one stock in this area currently. And believe it or not, that's Macy's. It's number 3 after Dillard's, and I don't know the Sendas. I don't know what this one is, but Macy's I do own, and then it's a little ahead of Kohl's. You always want to buy the very strongest ones that you can. Now this is Macy's, as you can see how I've bought it. The reason I bought it is I'm not in love with department stores. I just am not, but this is why I bought it. Now, could you buy it at this level? No, because unfortunately, it's extended. It's extended. So even though this is strong, I just wouldn't buy this one right now because it's just, you've got to be careful in this market. So, even the, Macy's is strong, but extended. So, watch list only. So even though this is a really good stock, I've been buying it for the last few weeks. It's extended now, and so you can really only watch this. But this is one of the strongest areas in the market right now, retail department stores, if you can believe it. So let's see if there's any other opportunities, in the market to see. So I'm gonna look back at the screen here to see if we have any other areas of opportunity. Oops, that's not the right one. If we have any other opportunities in the market to buy. Let's see. No, that's not the right one. That's not the right one. Oh, that's the right one. There we go. Good. All right. So, no, that's not the right one. No. Okay. Sorry about that. I had it up, but for some reason I got it left off the screen. So let's see if I can pull that up again. There we go. All right. So basically, the number one area of the market right now is coal. Number 2, Department stores, consumer loans, finance. This one might be good. Now, you know, this is one we could also look for things in. This is this is an area in the market, and it looks as if Santander Commercial. This one's good, but it just hasn't been. It's just very tight. As you can see, I've owned it, but it's very. I'm probably not as interested in it right now, just because it isn't moving very much, and I want to see something move more. Now, I have had some luck in this area of the market currently. It's the shipping area, and I do own Star Bulk, which is Matson's on there. Okay, so this is Matson's the top. Pangea, Zim. All right, let's look at all the stocks. Let's look at all the stocks in the group. I currently have Star Bulk, which is the number 4 one. It's not the biggest, but it seems to be working out for me, at least for right now. So I'm going to kind of pull up the screen for Star Bulk. This is also potentially viable. Here's what you can look at. There is potential of buying it off of this reversal. So here's what I would consider doing. I think even if the market is bad, I think you can still buy it, as it seems to be going higher. But here's what I would do on this one. This is a tough one to buy because it's already gone up. But what I think you can do, if this thing moves above about 24, I think you can possibly buy it. So here's what I would recommend on how to buy a stock like this. If you're going to buy a stock like this, you can use a buy stop limit order, where the limit is going to be equal to $24, and the stop. No, I'm sorry, where the stop is equal to $24 and the limit is equal to 24.10. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that Star Bulk is probably going to continue to do it. So this is one of the best areas of the market right now. Symbol SBLK. Now I do own this one, so I probably shouldn't talk too much about it. But basically, I do think that it's looking like it's making an attempt to move up to the buy point. And if it moves beyond that reversal, you can definitely buy it. Now I started buying it as it moved above the 21-day line. You can also possibly buy it at $24. So here's what I would do. Oh, and by the way, we have changed. The market is under pressure, unfortunately. So we got to be really careful. So we probably don't want to do this one. We probably don't want to do this one for tomorrow. I just got word from one of the kind people in the Discord room that we have a market trend under pressure. So the question is what to do when we have the market trend under pressure. And basically what you need to do, let me see if I can open that up, and let's see if I can get that symbol up there for you, because I think it's, this is something we're back to a market trend under pressure. So we're going to have to be much more defensive than we've been in the last. So basically, let's see. Let's put this in here. So market trend under pressure, and let's see if we can get some more information and how many distribution days that we've had. Let's just kind of put this all in here as well. Boy, we have a lot of stuff down today. We do have Matadors up though. That's very interesting to me. That indeed is interesting. So let me just put some of this information up. We did have a change in the direction of the market. So let's see if I can put that up here for everybody on the screen. There we go. Hold on. Yep. Okay, this is and I'm just putting up stuff that I've clipped out here. There we go. So, all Okay. So this is sort of the recap of the action today, and it's important to note. I'm going to put this out in an email to everyone, but but basically, here's the situation. We are in a market trend. Oops. Hopefully, I get it back here. So we are in a market trend under pressure right now, and what that means is, what that means is that we've got to basically start reducing our positions once again. We've got to start reducing our the main indexes are below the 50-day moving average. This is why I talk about this 50-day moving average so much. What this 50-day moving average says is that is there money coming into the market or going out of the market? When it's below the 50-day line, it's going out of the market on all the indexes. So the main indexes are below the 50-day line. It's time to reduce our position and wait for an uptrend. Basically, we've had 6 distribution days on the S&P and 6 on the NASDAQ. So this is definitely we may by Tuesday, by Wednesday, we may be going to a full market, a market, we might go to a full market retreat. But currently, very little is up. Of course, we were talking about Matador. That's one of the oil stocks. It's up in volume, it's up in price. And then COP is, oh, I can't remember what COP is. But look, everything else is down. Adobe, Google, Asmil, just everything, pretty much everything is down. In mode, Microsoft, everything is down. So basically what we got to do is, we're getting a change in the direction of the market. So basically what we have to do now is, reduce exposure to the market. Consider going 50% cash. So that's kind of what I would recommend right now. We just need to reduce the exposure to the market. Oops. We just need to reduce exposure to the market right now and consider going about 50% cash. So I will be back tomorrow. By the way, I'm going to put out, I'm probably going to put out an alert tonight, now that we've changed the market trend under pressure. If you're on the action trade alerts, and I hope you are, it's super easy to get onto the action trade alerts. All you have to do is go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. So just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor and first and last name and an email address so that we can contact you. Market has changed from a confirmed uptrend to an uptrend under pressure. We want to be at about 50% cash. We really don't want to be initiating any new positions, and we kind of have to wait until the next uptrend, confirmed uptrend happens. We may go to a market in correction. Hopefully we won't, but we may go to a market in correction. If we go to a market in correction, then we want to move out even further and possibly move to some positions that are going to be more bearish in nature. And I do have some bear trades on as well, and so that's kind of the situation here. So I will be back tomorrow at the same time, 3:30. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And I hope that this won't be too painful. I hope this one won't be too painful. But consider reducing your position now, probably to about 50% cash, and then waiting to see kind of what's going to happen. Until tomorrow at 3:30. Happy trading.